A hero is just an ordinary person like most of us, but he's able to show more strength, endurance, and perseverance during the most challenging situations when most of us just give up. The hero is able to keep on moving forward no matter how hard the times are, how hard the obstacles are. Ladies and gentlemen, Aditi once again on Inner World Revealed, and in this log, we're going to find out how we could be reading the heroic qualities in a person's face. What would be the qualities which would be symbolic of heroism, and how can we be spotting them? Who would be the person with more endurance, more perseverance, and more courage and strength amongst two people? Who would be the man of his words? Who would be keeping his words and who would not be able to? Let us find out how we could be spotting the hero. Abraham Lincoln, raised by very poor parents, educated himself by borrowing books, became the 16th President of the United States. He will be forever remembered for his inspirational rise to fame. Mother Teresa left home at the age of 18 to become a nun, devoted herself completely towards the caring of the sick and poor of India. She will be remembered forever as the epitome of compassion. Terry Fox, diagnosed with bone cancer at the age of 18 and was forced to have his right leg amputated 6 inches above the knee, ran across the entire of Canada with his amputated leg to raise money for cancer research. The Marathon of Hope is still celebrated each year as a fundraising initiative for cancer. 3 entirely different people, 3 entirely different faces, but one common feature: a fully developed chin. The first indicator of truthfulness, honesty, morality, and ethics is the broad chin. Any day, the person with the broader chin would be more truthful, honest, would be having more integrity, ethics, and morality as compared to the person who has a narrower chin. The straightness and squareness of the body is also an indicator of honesty. Anything that deviates from the straight line is definitely not very truthful. Straightness of the eyes and lips and everything is an indicator of truthfulness. But at the same time, I would like to say that being too straight and being too square, that is, appearing too truthful and too honest is also not so good, because in day-to-day life, we need a bit of diplomacy as well. So, let us consider a face, say any arbitrary face. Now, this face, as we can see, has kind of roundish eyes, pretty full lips, and a fair amount of chin. Now, to consider the straightness of the features, let's draw these imaginary lines. And as we can see, the eyes and the eyebrows, you can see, are deflecting a bit, especially the right eyebrow. And as I have already said, that any deflection from the straight line means a bit of adulteration. But you see, more or less, we have a fair amount of truthfulness in the face. The roundish eyes are more truthful as compared to longish eyes. Now, let us make the eyes, both the eyes and the eyebrows, with the straight lines, and let us make the face a bit more honest and more truthful. Now, let us add to the truthfulness by increasing the length and the breadth of the chin. Now, let us do one thing. Let us make the eyes a bit more intelligent. You see, with intelligence, deception comes as a byproduct. And brighter eyes, as we know, are always more intelligent. When there is more contrast in the eyes, it means more intelligent eyes. Now, let us deflect the eyes from the truth. Let us deflect it downwards. Eyes deflecting downwards is indicative of diplomacy. And you see, a fair amount of diplomacy is actually not so bad. If it comes along with a good chin area, the person would still be truthful and moral, but would be very soft and diplomatic in his approach. Now, let us deflect the eyes towards the opposite direction, that is, upwards. And let us also reduce the chin area a bit. Okay, so we have more of an optimist, but at the same time, a bit of an opportunist as well. But even then, the person is dependable because the chin area is fair enough. Now, let us reduce the chin area a bit more. And now the person becomes less dependable as compared to before. So, any deflection from the straight line as a thumb rule deviates from the truth. So now let us consider the mouth area. It is symmetrical as you can see, but let us twist it a bit. So now the mouth is also capable of twisting the truth. Now let us make the eyes further more crafty and deceptive by making the opening narrower. And let us compromise with the chin furthermore. And let us also make the upper lip more fuller and plumper at the center. So now we have a face which would be deviating on the sexual ethics as well. Sexual integrity and sexual morality is also a very important part of a person's character. And we could be easily telling that, who has the higher sex drive. You see, if a person appears to be having a very full center of the upper lip, if it is very full and very plump, in that case it is indicative of a very strong sex drive. But if it is not balanced with a longer chin, a longer or broader chin, in that case it could also mean that the person has very liberal views about sex. And at the same time, if the eyes appear to be longish, if the opening of the eyes is longish and the width is narrower, in that case also, if it is not supported by a long and broad chin, in that case the person could be having very liberal, views about sex, and at the same time would also be having a high sex drive. Firmness and endurance is also a very important heroic quality. Firmness and endurance means how much is the tenacity of the person to continuously move forward with patience, calmness, and continuous motivation to consistently go on chasing his goal until and unless it is accomplished. So the firmness and endurance in a person is shown by the length and the forward projection of the chin. People who have a very good length and a good forward projection of the chin can keep their mind focused on a plan for a very, very long time. Even if numerous obstacles intervene, they would just keep on moving forward with their plan patiently and calmly unless and until it is accomplished. Such people are extremely dependable, stable, and reliable people. Such people also show a very good fidelity in relationships. Now, often people confuse this quality of firmness with willpower. Willpower is shown by the fullness of the muscle at the root of the nose at its junction with the forehead out here. Willpower is also a very important quality. It is indicative of self-confidence, strength of opinions, and spontaneous decision-making. Firmness, on the other hand, is not necessarily forceful and spontaneous. It is calm and continuous. But thankfully, mostly it is seen that both features are mostly not present in excess in one person. Because if it was, the person would then be very difficult to deal with. Another very important quality which a heroic character always has is kindness. Kindness is a feeling of wanting to relieve other people's sufferings, and this character is shown by the fullness, redness, and a full rolling lower lip. If this part is very full and red and rolling, then that would be indicative of a very kind person. Now, a kind person actually is neither too fat nor too thin. You see, if a person is too fat, he would actually be concentrating more upon comforts for himself. And if a person is too thin, he just doesn't have the power to be anything at all. Now, it all depends on the other characteristics of the face, that how would the person actually be showing his kindness towards mankind. Would he be participating actively in all social causes and charitable issues, or would he be donating his money and extending his support? Or would he be just, speaking nice and kind words to people? It all depends on all the other qualities in the face and the combination of the qualities. Another very important part of the face is the part that is indicative of logic and reason. All the other good qualities of the face would be playing in highest efficiency if the face also shows a fine amount of logic and reason. Before we set any of our goals, it is very important to ask ourselves that why are we setting those goals? What would we be deriving when we achieve those goals? And in which direction are we going to be moving? And as we know that the indicator of a fine amount of logic and reason is a good forehead. A good amount of forehead, a fully developed forehead, is indicative of a good thinker. But you see, having only the forehead is not enough. Having only one feature is not enough. It has to be supported by the other features in the face as well. Because if you're only thinking and not doing, it doesn't really make sense. Thinking has to be supported by doing, and doing has to be supported by thinking. Now, the function of breathing is also a very important function in our body. The first gift from God to man was air. So we must be able to inhale and exhale sufficient quantities of air from our nose. Mind it, I mean the nose, not the mouth. Now, if you are able to breathe in and breathe out sufficient quantities of air, it stands in direct relationship to high thinking. The developed nose is also an indicator of a high thinker. You see, so if you come across a person who has very pinched and very small nostrils, a very thin nose, then that person also is not capable of doing anything heroic because he doesn't have the vigor of the organs which comes from good breathing. Large nostrils, large convex eyes, large mouth, broad chest, having muscular limbs is all indicative of a very strong body. Having abundance of hair in the body, bushy eyebrows is all indicative of a very forceful and passionate person. So such a person would be having a lot of power to defend himself and others. Now, the quality of force should not be used unduly as well. You should not be taking undue advantage of force also, because you are powerful. You should not be suppressing the people who are weaker. This quality of force again has to be balanced by strong ethics, moral principles, and kindness. Now, many a times we come across people who have very long noses. And as I have already discussed in a previous log of mine, that the length of the nose is indicative of the quality of caution. The longer the nose is, more cautious the person is. So if you come across a person who has a very long nose, the person is supposed to be a very cautious person. So such a person would not be easily standing up for a cause, because he would be always worried about what would be the after effect of his stand. So all the features, whatever are the features, have to be totally balanced. There doesn't have to be too much of anything. It has to be a totally balanced face. Only then it would be of highest efficiency. Lastly, I would like to say that if you happen to find no heroic qualities in your face, do not get disheartened. Who really cares to be the hero? If you're not the hero, maybe you are something else. Maybe you're the creator, maybe you're the artist or entertainer. Maybe you're born to be the trader and do a good business. So you definitely have some talent which is there. Everybody has some talent. It is our duty to identify what talents we have and make the fullest use of our existing talents. And if possible, we could be cultivating some of the other talents as well. So that would be all for today. I would be back with a lot more interesting logs. So stay tuned to Inner World Revealed. Have a nice day. Bye bye.